Well, hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Thomas Thorogood and I'm joined by a very special guest, a man that I have known for as long as I can remember, my biological brother, Samuel Thorogood. Welcome.
What an introduction.
You are a graphic designer.
I am a graphic designer.
And you very kindly come down for the weekend to help me with a brand identity for Stir and Fry, which is kind of my production company, and this YouTube channel is kind of under that umbrella, along with some of the short films I make, Stir and Fry, which we started together back in 2017 when we made a short film called Retreat.
Yeah, science fiction short film about a man calling his family from a spaceship.
And you played that man.
I played the man. You played my daughter.
A sort of 5-year-old girl.
And this film is still available on your channel. I watched it again recently and I think, it's a bit shonky, isn't it?
There was a
seed of an idea there, wasn't there?
My name's Samuel Thorogood and I'm the director and I play Luke Skywalker.
We've always loved film, and I remember we created films, growing up in the garden. We created like Jurassic Park films and Star Wars films. With Retreat, with that film, it was like, I guess the first one that we really felt, let's try and do this to the best of our ability with the resources we have, and really go for it. So we thought with that we'll start this kind of production company, Stir and Fry brand, which you've sort of taken on, haven't you? And you've continued as I've stepped back a little bit and I haven't been so involved. We did a few other films, Veg Out in Australia. That was a fun one. But then you've your channel has just become its own thing, hasn't it?
It's been in a number of directions, really. I've kind of always wanted to make video essays, but I felt like everything to be said has already been said. But then it struck me that, okay, so a lot of video essays are being made about the technical aspects of film. And then you have the kind of culture war stuff that people are like Critical Drinker are doing. I kind of felt what's maybe less common on YouTube, or what's missing from the conversation, is just video essays that get into, just kind of the basics of what's going on in the story. What are the objects in the story? What are the locations? What do these stories actually mean? Why do they resonate with us? Whether you like them or not, in a sense. I'm not reviewing films.
And I think those have been some of the most interesting videos you've done, have been the ones where you've taken a film that on the surface I wouldn't say has like a deeper meaning. And actually, as you unpack it and unpack the symbolism and the imagery, you realise that a lot of it comes from Genesis, doesn't it? A lot of it comes from sort of these old stories of sin and of faithfulness and covenant, and it's all of these kind of Old Testament themes.
I'm always trying to read around and learn more about it, and I've been very blessed by podcasts like Popcorn Theology, which kind of talk about film from a Christian perspective and bring quite obscure biblical passages to bear on stories and find parallels. And a guy I work with, Nate Morgan-Locke, who's got a channel called Reform Mythologist, he's taught me a lot. But I wanted to chat to you because you very kindly offered to do this brand design. It strikes me that the work you're doing is kind of the reverse of what I'm doing, because I'm looking at films and looking at the objects in the story and thinking about the significance of them. What are the symbols? You're kind of going the opposite direction, because you're taking a company that wants to work with you, or an organization, and you're thinking, what is their vision and how do I express that as a kind of visual identity?
It is the challenge is always really listening to the client to really understand what the heart behind the brand is. So we had a conversation a few days ago. Thomas has given me some things to think about. I'm going to write it all up. With what we're doing this weekend, I know this brand quite well because I've sort of journeyed with you as you've developed it. If I'm coming in cold, as it were, and I'm I don't know the brand already, there is a lot of really just listening at the start of the project to understand where's it coming from. I mean, I specifically work with Christian entrepreneurs, and so a lot of these people have real kind of God-given dreams for their business, for their project, for whatever it might be. It's a big responsibility to then come in and sort of take the dream and put flesh onto it, and to really sort of make it something that can then go out into the world and represent the brand. But yeah, really listening and then finding those those symbols, finding those colors, finding that typography, those things that really speak to what the heart is behind the brand. I mean, I heard Aaron Draplin, he's a great designer. He talks about a brand identity is like a filter. So when you should be able to then take any kind of bit of text or any idea and put it through the filter of this brand identity, and it will come out the other end looking and sounding like your brand. Yeah, it's a real privilege. Like, more than anything, I just see it as a privilege to be kind of coming into people's lives and getting to create with them, like co-create with them. And obviously then we have this kind of theology that actually, as image bearers of God, we're sub-creating. You know, he's the creator and we're the ones that get this mandate. It's an amazing thing when you're doing that with someone else who, you know, who believes that there's a higher purpose to all of this. It's not just creation for the sake of it. It's creation because we are created beings who have this spirit of creativity.
So this brand identity that you're doing for Stir and Fry, it's not as simple as you're making a logo that I'll slap on the front of certain things. It will actually trickle out and kind of permeate and affect, you know, all sorts of visual aspects of what I do, how I bring text up on screen, what the kind of voice I use on the website and that kind of thing. And so the idea of it being an identity is really interesting, isn't it?
And a mission as well. Like we spent a bit of time before this weekend. We had a call, didn't we? And we did a bit of work on your mission. You know, what's the reason? What's the why? You know, I'm a big fan of Simon Sinek. You know, start with why. And so you did an exercise that was about sort of really,
why am I doing this?
Yeah. I mean, all of the best designers that I know and that I look up to are the ones that really want to create something beautiful, but also create something that has meaning embedded in it. Yeah, that's what you're then doing with your channel. Is you're looking at those symbols and you're extracting out from that kind of where that meaning has come from. Yeah, and that's what Jonathan Peugeot is doing, isn't it? You know, his his website called?
The Symbolic World.
There you go.
I've been very influenced by him, of course, and yeah, it's just fascinating in a sense when you just hear him take a fairy tale like Sleeping Beauty and like, why does she pierce her finger on a spindle? Because spindles aren't very sharp, so it's a weird detail that seems to have persisted in this fairy tale for decades, centuries. And he thinks it's because spindles, because it's a cyclical thing and it produces this sudden appearance of blood. Is it kind of representing puberty and the beginning of the menstrual cycle and stuff? Stories are significant. So whether or not you agree with that interpretation, just the idea that we can expect the things that have persisted in our stories to be more than just quirks of, you know, human development or evolution or whatever you want to call it, but that actually the reason these details persist in our stories is because they're reflecting something of what humans are like and what the world
and I
is
think
like.
those are the stories that have endured.
Yeah,
they're the ones with that deeper meaning. I mean, there'll be lots of stories out there that maybe don't have that level of, because you can in a sense read deeper meaning into everything, but ultimately there are certain stories that have endured, which really have a depth of meaning in them. And I think those are the stories that you're delving into. A lot of horror, a lot of, you know, fairy tales, like the hero's journey. You know, there's a huge amount of Christianity baked into a lot of the stories we tell, especially in the West. Yeah, it's been fun to explore some different techniques and things that I haven't necessarily done before. Do you want to come and have a look? Come over here and have a look. I've been looking quite a bit at some references. I always like to put together historical and contemporary references. So for this, I'm going Bayeux tapestry, you know, iconography, a lot of Byzantine type art. Also some etchings and woodcuts. This is fun. So these were your colours. I'm just sort of adding to this at the moment. But so these colours all have symbolic meaning to them. So Cosmic Latte. We were talking about this last night at the pub.
The average colour of the stars
Exactly.
of the galaxy, the light from the galaxy.
So this hex code it's the average colour of the universe of all the light. And I thought that was quite cool for what your channel does, what you're exploring, the kind of cosmic significance of film. Then if you've got the light, you also need the dark. So this is the first ever image of a black hole. We find it. The first ever photo that was taken of a black hole. And I've basically zoomed in on the centre and found the darkest colour within the centre.
Yeah.
So that's this one, which would be your secondary colour. And I've also got you need a black really, but I found a kind of a really rich black, which is actually I found a copy of the Gutenberg Bible, which is the first printed Bible in the world. I zoomed right in on one of the pages and found the colour of the ink that was being used. With you, I'm wanting to give you not only brand colours but brand textures as well, because we've been looking a lot at iconography, especially like orthodox icons, and they just they use a huge amount of gold leaf, and I thought it'd be really interesting if gold leaf could be a feature of the brand identity, because in a sense the mission behind all of what you're doing is sort of re-enchanting something of film, or the film conversation, or the conversations we have around film. And so gold leaf, I think, has always been used in religious art to sort of look upwards, to sort of aspire
reflect
to something greater, to the divine. And so I'm just really interested to sort of explore using that in your brand identity as well, wanting to ground it in the old, but also want it to be a very sort of fresh and modern brand identity. We're done for the weekend. Well done. We've got it to a good place, I think. We've got some logos.
You've had to do this work presumably on your own brand of, you're a graphic designer and you have a brand called Pilgrimage Design. Yeah, why Pilgrimage?
It came about at a time in my life when pilgrimage just was a very important thing. So the two of us went on a pilgrimage at a very significant moment in my life when I was moving into a new chapter, leaving one chapter of life and moving into another chapter. We did this pilgrimage across the entire width of Scotland. We walked from Iona to St Andrews, this sort of 190-mile pilgrimage, wild camping and praying and laughing and just spending time together. And I think the business came out of that period of life. But I also like how pilgrimage is a really useful image or symbol for me as I walk with a client through a brand identity, because one of the things I invite clients to do is to think about the journey that they've been on that's led them to that point, and then think about the destination.
Well, no, thank you so much. You've been so generous with your time and your insights and the gifts that God has given you. I'm excited to see where it goes, and you'll be seeing your handiwork begin to work its way out on the channel in various ways.
Permeate out.
If people watching want to check out your work or even contact you with a potential collaboration or just chat, how can they find you?
Yeah, Pilgrimage Design. So you can search for that on Google, or it's www.pilgrimage.design. And I've got a newsletter that I'm actually relaunching, which is going to be a newsletter at the crossroads between Christianity and design. So that's going to be kind of every 2 weeks I'm going to put out a newsletter, which is just literally going to be a collection of things that I've found on my pilgrimage, on my journey, that are kind of at that intersection between Christianity and design. It might just be a really cool church flyer that I've seen. It might be an amazing church building that I've been into. It's going to be design in the kind of the broadest sense of the term. But yeah, I'm excited to really dig into some beautiful, design that is glorifying God, because there's a lot of it out there, and I just want to reflect on it and profile it and sort of be inspired by it as a fan of design as well. So
that'd be awesome. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that. I'll be subscribing.
Cheers, mate.
Well, Samuel Thorogood, thank you very much.
Thomas Thorogood, thank you very, very much. Such a formal, such a weird ending.
So I think we're late for the Indian takeaway.
How long's it?